Welcome to the BioBalance Healthcast, episode 684. Why do we need to take supplements?
BioBalance Healthcast features conversations about anti-aging medicine. Your host is Dr. Kathy Maupin, Medical Director of BioBalance Health and a leading expert in treating symptoms of aging. Dr. Maupin is the author of The Secret Female Hormone, the seminal work about testosterone replacement therapy for women, and Got Testosterone, the award-winning book for men that helps men choose the most effective and safe form of testosterone replacement. These books are available on Amazon or from Dr. Maupin's office at BioBalance Health in St. Louis and in Kansas City. Dr. Maupin's office is currently accepting new patients.
Welcome to the BioBalance Healthcast. I'm Dr. Kathy Maupin, and today I'm going to talk about something I talk about in my office every day, but I'm going to give you a more fleshed out piece of information than I can do in an hour in my office. And this is not going to be over an hour, but I have an hour to do everything in my office. So the first problem is, it's usually helpful to have the problem before I give you the solution. So the first problem is the government tells us that we don't need supplemental vitamins, minerals, and other types of supplements in our diet. Now, if you believe the government or everything you read from them, you can still believe the fairy tale that they have your health and life as their best interest. However, I don't believe so after the history of what we have been told to be healthy. We've been told to eat more carbohydrates and less protein and fat. That has now been debunked, and we need to eat less carbohydrates and more protein and fat. We have been told that we should not eat fish with mercury, but they want us to eat more fish. But fish does have mercury in it, so you have to watch what kind of fish you eat. However, the recommendation is eat more fish because then you get more omega-3 and 6 lipoproteins. Yep, that's good for us. It's good for our brain, but we have some problems with this. The problem is that there's contamination in our food sources. We also have to look at why we've been told to eat like we were told to eat and not to take supplements. And I believe it's because the foods we were told to eat cause us to make more money for the country. And that's been going on since 1960, so when I was just a kid. And now we have a barrage of diabetes and obesity just everywhere. And now we have one drug that's overpriced, or two drugs that are overpriced. God love them. I'm glad they're there, but they're way overpriced to treat this. So they did give us a problem, and then they gave us a very expensive answer that will also benefit the companies in the United States that make it. So are they on our side or not? When they tell us not to take supplements, then most doctors' organizations follow suit. They tell you not to take supplements. Part of the problem is that nobody really understands supplements because in medical school, doctors don't, because in medical school, if you're an MD, you get almost no nutritional training. It's not about prevention for doctors. It's about treating each illness with a drug or surgery. And that's how I was trained. But that doesn't work because you have to look at the whole picture. And you have to, if we are to survive this millennium, we are going to have to learn to have preventive medicine. We are going to have to prevent disease and not just treat everything that happens with a pill. So, what are supplements? Well, supplements are supplemental or additional parts of what food should have in them. Vitamins, minerals. That should be in our foods. We should get it from our foods. Fatty acids, like the omega-3 and 6, we should get from our foods. But that means we have to eat fish all the time. We should have good food sources, like we had maybe in the 1950s, when our ground was was healthier and gave our food more value, and we had more vitamins in it. It was not stored for, like apples stored for a year in some cooling closet before they send them to our grocery store. So most of the food that we eat that is from a grocery store has been stored, and a lot of the vitamins are gone. And then worse yet, we just don't choose to eat those foods. We choose to eat fast food. And not only does that not have the needed vitamins and minerals in it, but it also has a lot of preservatives. And we have a lot of preservatives in all our food. We have it in bread. We have, even things that you would think is a whole food. You go to the store, you get bread, there's preservatives in it. You get ice cream, there's preservatives in it. You get, anything that is not just fresh fruit and vegetables or meat, and meat has coloring in it to keep it red or pink. All of those things that are processed have something in them to sustain their life on the shelf. So that makes everything more profitable. It creates less waste, but it does not make us healthier. So because we're in the situation we're in, we can't go back to the farm and grow our own food and have our own vegetable garden. Not all of us can. Some of us can, but some of us have other callings that we have to attend to, and we have to eat for fuel. So we do the best we can. We try to eat whole foods when we can, but we find ourselves eating fast food because we have to eat. We find ourselves eating out, which means that there's added salt and added tastes that are not necessarily good for us, because when you eat what a chef cooks, it's supposed to taste good. It's not just fuel or nutrition. The best foods to eat are fresh, steamed vegetables or fresh vegetables that are not cooked, and fresh fruit that has not, frozen fruit is fresh fruit that's thrown in the freezer that still has a lot of vitamins in it, but it's not as good as fresh. And we should be making our own bread without preservatives, but then you're going to get mold on it pretty quick. So you better eat it. You can't make a lot at once unless you're going to share it with your neighbors. So we have some problems with our lifestyle. And many of these problems, we can put a Band-Aid on it. We can add the things back that we no longer get in our food. Now, should you take every vitamin and mineral that is available? No, you shouldn't. Many ways to go about this. One is you can go to your doctor, and your doctor can look at your pills, because your medications may require you to take something with it to keep you healthy, like metformin. Metformin's for diabetes. Many people are on this. You should be on B12 and CoQ10 if you are taking metformin. That balances what metformin takes out of your body, because drugs aren't always helpful. They sometimes use your own nutrition to work. Now, if you're taking a statin, you have to take at least 200 milligrams of CoQ10, and it should go up with your dose. So that should be told to you by the doctor that provides the statin. The metformin should be it should be communicated to you when you get your metformin or are told that you have to take it. You should be taking these vitamins and supplements so that you can stay healthy while on it. It counteracts what the drug is doing, but it keeps the drug doing its job. I write prescriptions all the time, so I understand this. There's a cost to everything. There's a downside to everything. So if you're living on a farm and you don't have any additives and you never go out to dinner and you never eat fast food and you grow your own food, great. I think probably you're going to be a lot healthier than 99% of anybody else in our country. But if you don't have that advantage, then I think you're going to have to take some supplements. Now, one other thing that I didn't mention earlier is we have a lot of chemicals put into our drinking water that are meant to keep lead from depositing on our pipes. Lead from leaching from our pipes. So getting lead in the water. And that used to be a very big problem. It is still a problem in houses that are over 100 years old. But for most of us, we're not living in houses that are over 100 years old, and we have new plumbing. We have copper, which is okay and doesn't leach, and we don't need any kind of chemical in our water to prevent that. But that chemical that they put in our water and the other things they put in our water to sterilize it, that's not good for us. It can even be a carcinogen for some people. So, not everybody, but some people. So, you have to filter your water. It should be through a carbon kind of a filter or a reverse osmosis system, but you should filter your water to drink, or you should drink, I guess, bottled water, but plastic gets into our bottled water too, so water bottled in plastic's not ideal either. See, we're stuck in this. Our environment is really changing our health. I guess the real question is, if I know this, why don't your doctors know that? And that is just because we're not educated with nutrition or preventive medicine. And I think half of my education was paid for by the state of Missouri and the federal government for med school. That usually it's a half. You pay tuition for half. It's very expensive. So the state pays the rest, or the federal government pays the rest. So depending on how you go through med school. So we're less likely, the people that work in those systems are less likely to criticize the hand that feeds them. We all need supplemental nutrition. It is an alternative to medicine sometimes. Sometimes I tell people to take methyl B12 instead of taking medication. Sometimes I tell people to take endodrin. You know what endodrin is? It's a glandular. It's made from beef, cattle, and it is part of the adrenal gland. It is used for anxiety and for high cortisol. There's no drug that we have to drop cortisol when it's too high, and a lot of us have cortisol that's too high. So we give this glandular, and it is very low dose, and it feeds back to our brain to shut down the elevations in our cortisol. It doesn't shut it off, it just modulates it. So we can manage high cortisol, which most people can't because they don't know about this, and they weren't taught about it in med school. It's learning we get I've gotten after med school. So that's one of the things that we can do with this instead of a drug that we don't have. My biggest motivation is when I can't find a medication or a food or a supplement to treat somebody, I have to go looking. And so that's how I find out all of this stuff, because I'm looking for a treatment for a patient who actually needs help, and I can't find it in the mainstream medical community or even in my off-label hormone practice. So some of the supplements stimulate hormone production. Some have to provide the right form of a vitamin. Like if you eat something that has B12 in it, like meat, you're going to get plain B12. If you're a third of the population in America that has a high homocysteine and a MTHFR genetic defect, and there's a third of us that have it, then you're not going to be able to process B12. You have to have methyl B12, and that's a supplement. So for those people, I test them, determine whether they need that, and then advise them to take methyl B12 the rest of their lives, because genes don't change. Sometimes on our blood tests, we find that minerals are lacking. Minerals are magnesium, potassium, sodium, chloride. All of those are seen on a metabolic profile, and if they are lacking, then they're not being provided in your food, so you need to take these supplements. Now, some of those supplements I give to use instead of a drug. Like, I use magnesium to decrease blood pressure. If somebody's blood pressure is high still on their medicine, I give them magnesium to lower their blood pressure. If somebody has leg cramps when they go to sleep or after they exercise, they're low on magnesium, so I give them a couple of magnesium glycinates. Now, the other kind of magnesium can give you diarrhea. Glycinate doesn't. So I give them magnesium glycinate. So as you can see, you should have some guidance to your supplements. I've had people come in with like 30 supplements a day. Some of them are doing the exact same thing, have the exact same active ingredient, and they're just willy-nilly. They don't know why they're taking them, and they just take the whole thing, and I don't know how they eat, because that would fill me up. I have other patients, one that I know as a friend, who just like walks into his cabinet of vitamins and looks around and he goes, I think I'll take that today and that today. That does no good. You have to take it every day. If you really need it, you need to take it all the time. It's just like eating. You have to replace your calories with food, and you have to replace your nutrition with food. You also have to replace your supplements every day with the same supplements to have any kind of blood level or effect. So, get a medical opinion. If you can't get a medical opinion, you can actually do a nutrigen test. A nutrigen test is a genetic test that tells you what vitamins you genetically are going to need more of. So, like my genetic test said I needed to have more vitamin E. So I added vitamin E to my supplements. And I need more magnesium. So I already was doing that. So that's one of the tests. There are other tests that you can do with Quest to see if you have enough of the vitamins. Some people need that, some don't. I don't think you need 30 supplements. I think you need specific supplements for your specific problems and to counteract your specific medications to keep you healthy. And it's preventive, somewhat treatment-wise. I mean, we're using it for treatment sometimes, but in general, it's to prevent future diseases. For osteoporosis, I don't believe you need to have more calcium if you drink and eat milk products. We have too much calcium in our diet anyway. If you take supplemental calcium, it's going to just deposit all over your body. Or give you kidney stones. So, you do for your bones need vitamin D. You absolutely have to have that. That's like the sun on a plant. You have to have vitamin D to actually make bone. You also have to have the hormones estrogen and testosterone, one or the other or both, to make bone after menopause when you're not making it anymore, if you're female. So bones have to be stimulated by a hormone, but you have to have the building blocks for bone. If you want to have hair is, if your hair is thin and you don't have a good reason for it except diet, if it's breaking off and it's thin all over, it might be thyroid. But if you have thin hair and you want to get thicker hair and there's no medical problem causing it, then it would be a good idea to take biotin. I like biotin pills by Thorne or chewable biotin by Berry Med. You should take collagen and put that in your coffee or tea every morning, and that gives you direct protein that will help you make more hair, the building blocks for hair. And those are the two biggies for hair, but vitamin C helps just like it does bones, and vitamin K helps hair just like it does bones. So those are the supplements that would be necessary to make hair. So we all used to get this in our food. I don't think we're getting enough in our food. And I think one of the things that I noticed when I operated on people, on women, was that halfway through the surgery, they'd start to bleed. I've said this before in my health cast. And I found out that was a lack of vitamin K. Women are low on vitamin K in this country. So vitamin K is very easy to take as a supplement. Take one every day. It doesn't cause you to clot. It just allows you to clot normally, and it stops you from bruising and bleeding. So if you have bruising and bleeding, or if you've been operated on and your doctor says you bled everywhere, then you need more vitamin K. And so that would be a supplement you would need. If you don't have that problem, you don't need more vitamin K. You must be getting it in your diet. So there's always a balance, diet and then supplemental nutrition. So those are the things we're trying to balance, and we're not trying to just overwhelm your diet with pills or chewable supplements. We're trying to add to it. And one of the things that I suggest to people who exercise a lot is that, for example, they need their electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals. They're the potassium, magnesium, chloride, and sodium, the things that are in your sweat and that you lose when you exercise. Those are the things that I tell people to take before they exercise, or if they're exercising for like a round of golf, they have to take their a tablet of NUUN Sport or one of the other little sleeves of electrolytes at the turn, after the 9 holes, so that they keep their electrolytes so that their muscles work. Electrolytes have to do with contraction of your muscles. The more you contract them, the more you use up, the more you need, and the more you sweat, the more you need. So this is to keep you healthy while you're outside sweating or you're active and you are using your muscles and using that up. So there are many reasons to take supplements. Another is that none of us has the right gut bacteria. We have lots of illnesses, autoimmune diseases, and other diseases that are, and depression and anxiety that are caused by our gut not having the right bacteria. So, to get the right bacteria, you have to take a probiotic. Now, bacteria, we have more bacteria than we have cells in our body, and the bacteria are symbiotic. We help them by feeding them. They help us by keeping our intestines healthy. They also help make antidepressants that go to your brain and help you not be depressed. They make anti-anxiety chemicals that go to your brain, neurotransmitters. And so how do you feed them? You take your probiotic in a pill, and then you eat raw vegetables every day. Every day you have to eat raw vegetables. There's no exception. If you just eat a cucumber, that's fine. You just need to have fiber for these bacteria to live. That's what they eat. So, to keep our gut healthy, we need to feed them, and we need to provide the right gut bacteria, the wrong gut bacteria that can make you sick. So the probiotics, I advise most of my patients to take a probiotic, because in general, our diet is not providing the right bacteria, and we're crazy clean. The cleaner you are, the more obsessive you are about cleaning your house, the less bacteria you're going to have in your gut. So that's one of the things that has happened with modern life. But improving your mental health by improving your gut bacteria is probably a new thought, but it does work. Some of these things, you need to have the right nutrition to lose weight. So we advise collagen and protein to increase muscles, or eating protein to increase muscle growth. And of course, we need to have all of our vitamins and minerals so that we can sustain the stress of weight loss. Because, by the way, weight loss is stressful to your body. You're losing fat. You're hopefully gaining muscle with it if you're on testosterone, you are, or if you're young. But that's very stressful, and your body has to have extra of everything to get you through this. Probiotics, multivitamin, multimineral, and you're not eating as much as you used to, especially if you're on the medication, the semaglutides or the tirzepatides. You don't eat enough to actually provide the right nutrition to your body. So you have to take it as a supplement. So hopefully I've convinced you that supplements are needed, that just because you hear it on television you don't need them is not true. But the kind of vitamins and how many vitamins and nutrients that you take is really important, and you should ask an expert or get a test done to see what vitamins and minerals you need. Sometimes I can tell by a patient's symptoms what they need. So I just give them a list of what I think is going to help them right now. They may need something else later, but currently they're going to need this list. They may not need it forever. So ask your doctor or ask a nutritionist or get a genetic test and find out what you're missing so that you can supplement your vitamins and minerals so that you can stay healthy with the American diet. It just doesn't have everything we need. So I hope this helps you devise a new nutrition plan, and I will see you back next week.
Email your questions or comments to podcast@biobalancehealth.com. You can find the BioBalance Healthcast on iTunes and on YouTube. For more information about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy and other reverse aging solutions, visit biobalancehealth.com or call 314-993-0963. You can find Dr. Maupin on Twitter at Dr. Kathy Maupin and on Facebook at facebook.com/biobalancehealth.